Okay, same day, September 17th, 2025. Now it's $7.88. So first it was $7.75. Then it was $7, I think, 39 cents, which is on the other video that's being uploaded right now. And now I checked it again, and now it's $7.88. Right? Okay. I don't remember reading this. It's $7.88. It hasn't even been half an hour, 45 minutes. Same date.
Big drill.
Okay. Of course it stopped, right? I wanted you to hear this god-awful noise. If you ever hear a whole bunch of noise besides my washing machine in the background, right? That's these people building. Oh, here, listen here. That's just one sound of... Can you hear that? And it booms. It making the house go boo. I can feel it. I can feel the vibration of it.
What's your arm?
Okay, now it's 7:78. Same day. Okay, this is some shady stuff. Did I not just make a, I guess you could say, comment, or brought to the attention to, or brought this particular video up on a video? I don't know how many views I got. 20? This dude that does this stuff all the time,
behind me, somehow,
in terms of taking other people's content and just running with it and calling it a reaction. I'm just saying. Look how many views he got. Because he's black. I noticed that YouTube caters to black people. Yeah, I noticed that. Sending all the traffic his way. Unless that person's sitting in a vehicle with the cops cruising around.
Right? Ain't this what I woke up to?
Yeah. I just had that on my video. The guy who's running this show is this dude.
3, 2, 2.5.
I find that interesting.
I just filled my car with, and
So I think he's running the whole video. He even used the first title, like the original title of the video. So he's using the original title of the video. Millions of Americans are unprepared for what's about to happen next. That is the
There. And
make me a coffee, please.
What are you talking about?
Oh, well, I have this little clip, this particular video, little parts of it in my video in the last 1 or 2 videos ago. And I got something like 28 views or 20 views or something dumb like this, where this guy steals the guy's title and the video, says it's a comment, a reaction to this other person's video, and he gets almost 8,000 views. Where are we?
How does that work?
Well, that's YouTube. No, it is because he's black. Yeah, that's what it is. I find that YouTube runs a lot of traffic to black people. Yeah.
I will say I'm like...
Yeah. Does he even talk in here very much? Sometimes he does. Alright.
How they park, how to disguise their car to make it look like they're not living in the car. People are just going to have to take the necessary measures to hide better. That's what I feel. I mean, if you're already living in the car and now it's a law that you can't live in the car, what you going to do?
£2 every roughly 3 months, no electricity supply. You can't live in a house for 3 months on 30 quid gas.
Or implications small minor setbacks in life that made it to where they cannot afford a place to stay no more because they were out of work. This is why a lot of people are in their cars too. So imagine you being in that circumstance right there, and then a law comes out saying you can't live in your car. It's about to be illegal to breathe in America in a second. They catch you breathing, you getting locked up. Now you can't breathe. Trump just passed a new executive order, no more breathing. That's crazy.
At least he advocates. This one here, he does tend to advocate more for the people. I have to give him credit for that. But I find that brazen. He took the original title of the original video, ran the video, made his few little comments around it as a reaction to the video, and got 8,000 views. Oh, now he's at 8,080 views. So they're still coming in. Huh. Before it was 7,000 and something. It jumped up by 1,000 views. So where's the algorithm coming in from? I'd like to know. Yeah, I come in with original content on the fly, right? Multiple different types of subject. Some of them serious, some of them not so serious. And I get shadow banned. Oh, yeah. Well, this dude,
to get up and start my day.
he just plucks out of other people's videos. Seriously, mainly TikTok rants.
Crazy shit. I'm kind of scared now. I don't know where I need to sleep at, because usually I be in Walmart parking lots. Since
I
that
want you
shit's
to see
illegal,
that cute little white
I need
baby.
to move around.
We just stopped at
There he is. There's that cute little white baby.
Greg's goodies. We enjoyed.
Remember that cute little white baby? Yeah. Where's that cute little white baby? There's that cute little white baby. Wow.
Because there's nowhere to actually park properly.
Does he add a link to where the video came from? I wonder. Where's the original video? Original video. Oh, okay. So he puts the original video. Yeah, millions of Americans won't be ready for. So he uses, oh, it says won't be ready for. Here he says are unprepared for what's about to happen. Yeah. Yeah. Millions of Americans won't be ready for. Okay, so how many videos? So where are we? Let's. Okay, look how fast the views are coming in. Now it's 8,151. First it was 7,000 and something, and then it was 8,080. Now it's 8,151 since I've done this video in the last 15 minutes. When I turned off the camera, it was only off for a few minutes. So how is it that the algorithm is snagging him in to a repeat of something? Right? And how many did the original video get? Let's go see.
And
Oh, wow. 32K views 4 days ago. Talk rant. Right? Which is just taking other people's videos, stringing them together. Yeah.
I do have a full
And that's original content. Wow. Yeah, look, this is how shady YouTube is. Now it's 8,473. It was 8,417, and in less than 15 minutes, it jumped up to 73. Yeah. Yeah, that's how shady YouTube is. And you know, for all we know, people, for all we know, this dude here that he could be an AI generated commentator. I wouldn't put it past YouTube as a corporation to have their little staff, because you know they got their staff, right, off to the side that creates AI-generated commentators to redirect the traffic to those commentators so the money stays within the family, within the YouTube family, that is, right? When it comes to the corporation. Yeah, because he's not doing anything special here. He's really not. Oh, look at that. Now it's 8,678. Do you see how fast this is running through? Well, they're dickering around with pennies and cents on my channel. Yeah, it got me buried deep into the shadow band of the abyss, eh? Yeah, for sure. I'm curious just to see. Why don't we just sit here for a second and watch and see? How long is it going to take to flip? What do you think? Let's run. Let's see. Let's listen while we watch.
America in a second. They catch you breathing, you get locked up. Nah, you can't breathe. Trump just passed an executive order, no more breathing. It's crazy that being homeless is illegal. I remember when I was in Mexico, it was illegal to feed the homeless. That's probably going to be next if that's not already a law. I don't know. Is that a law already? If it's not, then that's probably going to become a law.
Of course
you can
it's
go to
a
jail
law.
for feeding the homeless. What happened to free will? I can't do what I freely want because they don't care. They don't want homeless people to have nothing.
For now, I'm going to look for a job.
I just
I'm going to get back on my feet because I have kids.
The numbers don't
Unfortunately,
jump up
things didn't
just
go
one
so
or two.
well, but that's okay.
They jump up
At
between
this point of my
50,
life, I'm like a
200.
bulletproof vest, you guys. Anything that
they
life
just
throws at
jump up
me,
on their own,
I'm
right?
just getting hit, and it's not doing
saying.
anything to me.
That statement is deeper than most people probably understand, unless you are a person that has gone through the most. I'm like a bulletproof vest. Anything that life throws at me, I'm just getting hit and it's not doing anything to me. That's a deep statement. There's so much happening that you can't even feel. Every day is something new. You're getting hit, back to back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. You don't even got time to feel the emotions behind it or be emotional about it. You just got to keep going. Figure out the best move.
He's not saying
Everybody's
much of
becoming
anything.
desensitized to pain and to life. You don't
You
got
know?
time to weep in sorrow and be in sorrow. Nah. You got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. Everybody
not
becoming
like he's a
professional
great
boxers,
philosopher or
fighting
anything.
Life fighting them. They get hit. Got to keep going. Get hit again. Got to keep going. Drop a comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this video. What y'all think gonna be the next law that's passed?
I think
Will it
it's
be
a
worse than it
sham.
being illegal to be homeless?
I think it's a sham. Yep. I think it's some AI-generated dude that's employed by YouTube as a corporation to redirect traffic so that money stays with the family. That's what I think. Yeah. And I think there's a whole lot of them out there like this. Oh my Lord. Oh, come on. We gotta roll those numbers. Let's roll those numbers. I can always refresh the page. Alright. It seems like every 15 minutes or so, the numbers jump up. So where is it plugged into? What? It's not TikTok. These are not TikTok views. Right? You can't blame it on TikTok. Here, let's refresh the page and see what comes up. No, it's still the same. Oh, well, geez, the sleeping giant. Yeah, we got the sleeping giant here. Well, I could come back. Just turn off the camera as soon as the numbers change. Because they're going to change real soon. That's the pattern here. They don't even come in at one at a time. You see, that's the thing. Hold on a minute. It's sweating in here. It's hot. I was sleeping. Yeah. And then I got up. I'm like, I'm hot. But yeah, no, they're not even moving one at a time here. Right? They'll jump up. Well, I'm just curious to see what the next number's going to be. It's like they come in with just some random number. How much money do you think he made off of this video? When you're dealing with sense. Yeah. What do you think? Huh? No, it's not my imagination. This number will jump. Just give it enough time. And this was done 9 hours ago. So YouTube's got it someplace where it's right up in everybody's face. YouTube's been like this for years. Yeah. It's such a scandalous sight, I tell you. Come on. What's going to happen here? I'll turn off the camera and then it will jump up. Yeah. For sure. Now this is a boring video. You're probably wondering what happened with the social workers. For the 1 or 2 or 3 that lurked my channel. Yeah. We'll get back to that on the next video. We'll put this one in. YouTube gets their own playlist. Yeah. Yeah, because it's scandalous. You can't compete on YouTube. You could be as original as original can be. And, unless you're real scandalous or something like that, or black. If you're black, you'll do well, like an American black. Right? Some of the Africans that come from Africa, you know, some of their channels seem to be okay. But these American black people, the haters, that little beef sectors, you know, they get a lot of traffic because of being black, talking the black lingo. And then guys like this, whether they're beating up on the people or standing beside the people. But I find the ones that are beating up on the people usually get more views than people like this dude. But at the end of the day, none of their content is original. They have to use other people's content and so-called react to it. Yeah, which is, you know, in my opinion, just kind of stupid, right? But I guess it feeds into
Store up to 60% off at Michael's.
That fear porn. Yeah, see, it jumped up. Do you see how fast it jumped up? Look at that. And then we got my little Dicky channel, right? Government steps towards homelessness. I think maybe that's where I had that little bit of video in here. Look at that, 20 views. Oh, wow. Andre is now having nightmares. 40 views. And this last one, would you do this for Amari? 20 views. Wow. Yeah, that's like really pathetic. Yeah. Like really pathetic. Okay, I come in with original content that, what do you call it? Touches on several subjects, right? You know, I'm not stuck on just one subject, right? I don't go around begging for people to give me money all the time like Latrice Allen, who basically just sits around eating and putting on weight. I'm just saying. I haven't watched her for a long time. You know, in terms of like,
How you gonna do your right
just come in and see what she's up to about, because it's pretty much the same crap. Look at what this man just got me. I knew Cardi B was pregnant, and I'm happy for her. 11K. This one was just put up 25 minutes ago, 1.1K. I love cooking and feeding people. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm up eating something a homeless lady cooked on the streets. Okay. I need to stop eating these. Okay, 21K. Streamed 3 days ago. This, my last live, I give up, which is nothing more than clickbait, because she does that, right? We up frying fish, what you all doing, and of course she's eating, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm eating seafood again, 16K, that was 7 days ago, and people lap that crap up. And she's one of the biggest beggars on the internet. Yeah, I'm telling you, YouTube is so crooked. Okay, so I might as well just work on this video and upload it. So we'll touch base on these social workers in a second as to what's going on with them. I walked them through the yard. I took them into the basement. Oh yeah. I explained to them what I have to do. I showed them the porch. I explained to them what I have to do. Yada-yada. I explained to them my situation. I explained to them, I pointed out the windows. I explained how difficult it would be to get out of those windows that I pointed at when it came to bedrooms, right? And because I did work in the kitchen and started clearing away from the back door, quiet, which I would have done anyway, because once I get out on the porch and working in the back, even though the step is broken, you know, you know, especially if I'm in the basement, I like to use the back door, so I would have opened that anyway. And the glass needs to be refitted before winter comes, otherwise too much freezing air comes in. So tomorrow I've got the chicken claws coming with the chicken thighs and the fish. I told those social workers I'm doing that for Amari for the college. And hold on a minute. And I know why I'm like heating up in here and hacking. I've been like trying to de-spider the house a little bit with these little, they're really tiny, teeny weeny little spiders. And they're getting into the wood things. Like, you know, they like wood, right? So I'm like been spraying this water with tea tree oil. I spray it everywhere, right? And spraying down the hall and along the baseboards, and you know, as I'm wiping things down, I'm spraying after. And plus, you know, with the moths coming in with the groceries, and then the house being so hot, I've been spraying, you know, for moths. Anyway, I'm looking at this video. Where's my finger? Right here. Yeah, chicken feet, stock, and the throne of lives. Okay, so basically what this dude is saying, when he makes his, okay, what did he say? Some people call broth the bones, stock just the mishmash podge of whatever. Okay, so when he cans his gelatin broth, which you can use the meat and the bones, right? Okay, as long as there's enough in there, you'll get what you need when it comes to that gelatinous product. Remember I told you about skimming off the top part before you can it, because otherwise, you know, fat can crawl, and it can, right? It can compromise your jar over a period of time if you're not careful where you store it. However, what his solution is to just lower the headspace, which maybe what I'll do is that's what I'm going to attempt to do this time, because there are nutrients in the top layer of that fat, because there's different types of fat in an animal, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and it has flavor and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I read the comments while I still can, you know. And one person said, I separate fat and add it back to the individual quart jars at the end. So, after you make your stock, however you make it, with whatever you make it, you put it in the fridge. After it cools, you let that surface fat come to, it's like a lard almost, right? Come to the surface. Well, everything else is whatever below it, right? And you skim it off. You can use that later to fry with something else if you'd like. You can throw it out if you like, but you're kind of wasting it. Or in this situation, maybe I might attempt to do it this way. I'll skim it and then fill up my jars, and then I'll put in a tablespoon or so at a time per jar, right? To spread it out so that it's even Steven for the most part. Because if you take it right from the pot, some jars are going to have more, a bigger layer of fat. And then the more you use it, obviously other jars are going to have less. So to make it more dispersed evenly, skim it off, fill up your jars with your broth or your stock or whatever, and then come back in later with a tablespoon of fat per jar to disperse it more evenly. And while you're doing that, also lower the headspace by a bit, right?
Canning lid failures this year.
He said he had a lot of canning lid failures. Now you can see up in here, there's a small little layer of that fat that I'm talking about. Normally, your headspace would be at least an inch, up to 1.5 inches, right? Here he's got it look at about 2, but you have to be careful that you don't go down too far, because it can become potentially more dangerous to have less of a headspace, right, than what's recommended. If your jar is, if you can something and your liquid is less than half from the food, less than half, they recommend not to do that, right? However, I've seen videos where people have canned moose, deer, that kind of stuff, and they pretty much dry pack it, right? Like they process it, cook it, I think they kind of, where am I? I think they kind of cook it where it's basically dry, and when we put it in the jar, what video was that? What did, it was some sort of a game animal, and they had no liquid in it, and they pressure canned it, and they said they liked it that way better. They preferred it that way, I guess, for like barbecuing or whatever, because it was basically dry. So that was the first time I ever heard that, and I could understand why they would want to do it if they wanted to use it for a barbecue of some kind or something like that, versus canning it in liquid, right? The liquid is, the point of the liquid is to have the heat travel through the jar. It's easier for heat to travel through a jar with liquid. So anyway, this dude, which I think I might try this time, and I'm going to try and keep the fat just for the sake of it, because it's a different kind of fat with different nutrients. It does have flavor, and so his headspace is fairly low, right? So how low I'm going to go on mine, I don't know, but it's recommended to stay with the standard headspace. And I think for stock, well, you can go up to 1/2 inch with stock, really. Yeah, like if you do juice, and you water bath it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever it is, your headspace is like 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch from the top. You couldn't do that with a greasy product. You would have to drop it down because of that grease crawling, right? Now he's saying he's done this in the past without dropping the headspace, and he didn't really have a problem with the grease crawling. But again, it really depends on where you store your jars and how cold it is, right? To prevent that from happening. And even then, it could happen.
But nothing to do with fat. What I did is I took really good care. I wiped my rims with...
Okay, so he's saying that... Let's just listen to him for a minute. Because I got my chicken claws coming in tomorrow with my chicken thighs. So I'm going to combine the two tomorrow. I'm going to combine the two together tomorrow.
This is like almost solid gelatin.
Okay, let's just go back a bit more. All right.
Legs. So the number one thing that I heard when going through and making this stuff that I want to point out, we'll talk about three things really today, is that you have to remove the fat layer. No. I went back and I watched Jamie's old videos. She never, in fact, she mentioned, she's like, why throw that out? That's good stuff. That's good flavor. That's good nutrients. Why throw that? And
yeah, and I have jars that have that layer of fat in my jars as well, right? So it's not like I don't do it. I have. They recommend that you don't do it, and that's because of the fat crawling at some point, you know, compromising the lid. But it's not absolutely necessary.
And anytime I make soup anyway, I'm going to throw butter in it because butter makes it better, and butter is a fat. Butter makes everything better. You can put butter on an old tire and it'll taste pretty good. My opinion here is, no, you don't have to take this out. And I did find a number of
See, that's almost 3 inches, right?
YouTubers, very few, who don't, you know, put this in the fridge and then scrape off the fat. You know, and I did put one of these in the fridge last night after I got done with it, and very gelatinous. I mean, this is like almost solid gelatin when you pull it out of the fridge. So it's like we have a colder temp. So, but I didn't remove the fat before I canned these. No, I keep the fat in there. You don't. They say, well, you won't get a good seal. You will get all my jars sealed, even using these questionable ball lids, which I've had a lot of failures in ball lids this year. I'm really starting to make the move to 4 jars. Flesh. Now, I am not that experienced in making either.
Oh, what did I do? Oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, what have I done? What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say something. The problem with the ball lids, I'm finding, is the rubber around the rims, here we go, are thinner. As companies are slivering off this and slivering off that, if you have old canning lids that you haven't used from years and years ago, and you compare them to the new canning lids, you can definitely see that the rubber on the lid itself is very, very, very thin. So if ball lids are failing, which sometimes they do, right? That's why. It's because of the rubber.
You can put butter on an old tire and it'll taste pretty good.
Okay, let's go back.
My opinion here is, no, you don't have to take this out. And I did find a number of YouTubers, very few, who don't, you know, put this in the fridge and then scrape off the fat. You know, and I did put one of these in the fridge last night after I got done with it, and very gelatinous. I mean, this is like almost solid gelatin when you pull it out of the fridge. So it's like we have a colder temp. So, but I didn't remove the fat before I canned these. No, I keep the fat in there. You don't. They say, well, you won't get a good seal. You will get all my jars sealed, even using these questionable ball lids, which I've had a lot of failures in ball lids this year. I'm really starting to make the move to 4 jars, I think. Let me know what you think about those in the comments below also. But I've had a lot of ball canning lid failures this year, but nothing to do with fat. What I did is I took really good care. I wiped my rims with vinegar, and then I went ahead and made sure I gave it extra headspace, which they recommend when you're having fat in there. So I gave it some extra headspace, probably.
Well, I don't know who that they are. That would be those Rebel canners, I would think.
A little bit too much headspace for that one. Some of these don't have as much headspace. Like this one has a little bit less fat in it. But I gave it plenty of headspace, and I went ahead and canned it that way. I got 14 quarts done yesterday, and I had 2 extra quarts set aside for things I'm going to be using in the next 2 days.
That's about
So I really got
2.5
16
inches.
and a half quarts of the legs that I did, and I had 2 carcasses that I threw in there, chicken carcasses, that I had frozen and saved. I got a lot of good stuff out of this. But guys, no, you don't have to remove the fat. You're just taking flavor and nutrients out of your stock, in my opinion. Now, this is technically a broth because I did throw some garlic in there. I threw some onions in there when I made this. And it basically boiled on my wood stove for about 7.5 hours. Okay, and by the time it was done, I mean, it smelled fantastic. The whole house smelled great. It's like the 2 things I love the smell of in my house is fresh baked bread and stock and broth. Anyway, all right, so here's the deal. That's the first thing. You don't have to remove the fat. The second thing we're going to talk about today is clipping the nails. You don't have to clip the nails. That's just an extra step. A lot of people are like, well, you have to clip the nails. I don't want those in my stock. I don't want those.
So, okay, I guess he did chicken legs. Not the part with the meat on it, per se, as the claws and, you know, the little, right? So, okay, so, yeah, you don't have to, from what I read, and because I read a few articles, you don't have to clip off the nails.
Was in my broth? Who cares? It's like, I mean, listen, it kind of leads into my third thing, and that is you have to peel the skin. Every single person I saw make, because everyone knows the way you make the best stock is with chicken feet. Chicken feet, chicken legs. Okay, you're gonna...
Yeah, mine are coming in tomorrow. That's why I'm watching this video. I'm trying to gear myself up for this. Save my energy. I told these social workers, I'm making some collagen broth for my grandson. That's just the way it's going to be. Fish skin, bones, and chicken feet.
There's no way you're going to get more gelatin out of your stock than using chicken feet. So how do you do that? Every single YouTuber I saw online peeled the skin off and clipped off the toenails. Actually, there was one, I think, that left the toenails on, but they're all peeling the skin. I'm like, why? Why are you peeling the skin?
I'm not
And the
peel
reason
mine.
I asked that is because as I was doing this research, again, someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in this, almost zero experience in stock and broth, you come across a lot of Asian recipes, and the Asian recipes all leave the skin on so that they can eat it.
Yeah, because it's
And
good
so
for
if
you.
these people are taking chicken feet and they're making Asian recipes, and there's a lot of them out there, folks, a lot of recipes. Some of them look really good. I'm like, man, maybe I should try this. They all leave the skin on so that they can eat it. So if they're eating it, why are you peeling it off for this? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. So listen, here's what I did. I triple washed because there's an invisible R there, just kind of like the silent E, but the invisible R where I'm from. We just pronounce wash that way. And so I took all of my chicken feet and I washed them 3 times in hot water. Okay, drain off the water, put it back in, hot water, drain off the water, did that 3 times. And then I blanched them, because they say if you want to peel the feet, you can blanch them. And that's when I realized, as I'm peeling like the second chicken foot, I'm like, this is going to take forever. And I'm thinking, Zach, you saw all these videos, and all these Asian videos, where they're making chicken feet, and they all left the skin on, and then ate it. Why am I peeling these? I'm not peeling these things, they're staying right as they are. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments below. Why peel the feet? Listen, I understand that there's people out there, and you may be one of them. Let me know in the comments below. They're just like, oh, Zach, it's just disgusting. I can't deal with these feet and making broth with feet. No, and I've seen a lot of people out there making chicken broth, and they just use the bones and the flesh. They'll just boil 2 whole chickens because they can't find it within themselves to use feet. It's just disgusting. By the time I had triple washed these things and blanched them, they were clean. There was no dirt on this. I mean, a couple of the older rooster, because we had some roosters that we butchered, and those older rooster feet looked pretty ragged. But they were clean. They looked kind of nasty, but they were clean. Okay? There was no germs left on these things. They've been washed 3 times in hot water and blanched. And, you're moving them around, they're clean. It's okay. I can get past that. If I can eat balut on this channel, I can use chicken feet.
Don't know
to
what
make stock,
pollute is,
okay?
but anyway.
This idea that you have to peel the skin on your chicken feet.
That's like hamburger. You buy hamburger, and there's the possibility of it having E. coli in it, because, you know, they take parts from the cow that are close to the intestine, which could potentially contaminate your hamburger with feces, which produces E. coli. So it would be no different. Once you bring it to a certain temperature, you kill off. That's why you have to cook hamburger to a certain temperature for, you know, a few minutes at least anyway, to kill off that type of a bacteria. Well, it would be no different when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? Same thing with chicken carcasses, right? In terms of like where, you know, the inside of the carcass of the chicken. You know, you're not going to eat a half raw chicken or 3/4 cooked chicken with it running blood from inside the carcass, right? Because you can potentially produce E. coli from the intestines that are maybe left inside the chicken. So, you know, just keep that in mind, right?
Is ridiculous when there are lots of recipes out there leaving it on so you can eat it. It's just more work. It's just, I'm trying to save time. You know, we all have a limited amount of time in our day. And we all want to make good foods, healthy foods, nutritious foods. Cut time. You don't have to trim the nails, okay? And you don't have to remove the fat before you can it. Okay? All my lids sealed and sealed.
Okay, I have canned broth, stock, whatever, meat, right? With me skimming off the fat, depending on how much fat, that type of fat is in there. I've even taken paper towels and, you know, touched the fat to have it go onto the paper towel. But then my headspace were also higher, right? This time, maybe I'll leave the fat in. We'll give it a shot, right? Because it's just trying it out anyway, right? And I'll lower the headspace. I'm not going to lower it by 3 inches, though. I'd probably lower it maybe by 2, right? 2, maybe 2.5. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Perfectly well. What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I have done a lot of canning. I have never really, this is my first time doing canning of chicken broth, and I made basically 16 and a half quarts, 14 of which went into the canner, and 2.5 that are being saved for upcoming meals coming soon. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Is it a waste of time? Is it something that you just can't stand to see and so you have to do it? Maybe you don't use chicken feet at all. Let me know.
It's the best. Oh yeah, it's primo stuff if you really make it rich.
Know how you do chicken broth, and you know, what ingredients do you add to your stock to make it broth, and the whole controversy of what is actually stock and broth to begin with. You know, how do you define that? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So here's another video.
All right, guys. Hey, check out our merchandise over at teespring.com. I'm not wearing one.
Sure.
I ordered 200 hand-forged knives for my dorm room and built a Wix website to sell them.
Okay.
I'm Noah Rosen.
Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to make almost 6 months supply of chicken stock from 60 chicken feet. We're also going to experiment with how many times we can run each batch through the Instant Pot to get the quality of chicken stock that we want. So come along on this adventure.
60 chicken feet.
So we're going to be making stock today, or is it broth? People that use this in...
You finished?
The last 2 videos, are we making broth or are we making stock?
interchangeably online, and there's a bit of
I hate that when videos are so
debate
low
on whether it's
in
stock
volume.
or broth, and I may be making a combination of the two today. So stock is more made from bones, with more of a neutral base. So it doesn't have a lot of seasonings, doesn't have a lot of veggies. It's more to be neutral so that you can flavor up your different dishes the way that you like. Whereas broth is more of a liquid that's made from bones and more meat. And it also has vegetables, so onions, carrots, celery,
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to dilute it.
So
I want the
maybe
gelatin.
even more like a chicken noodle soup type flavoring. So today I am going to be making this out of mostly bones, and it's going to be more neutral. I am going to add onions and garlic for the health benefits of those things, but not a lot of seasonings or other vegetables. But first, let's take you back to when I started this project.
Okay,
Some
okay.
that say that you need to roast the bones first, or they prefer that they roast the bones first. Some say that's not required, not necessary. And then some say also that you can boil the feet for 5 minutes in salt water and maybe a little bit of vinegar as well. And I think that's just an extra caution to clean the feet before they begin to make broth out of them. So with this first batch, I have, and I'm actually going to make 2 batches. With the first batch, I did go ahead and boil them for 5 minutes, and after I scrubbed them and removed anything that I didn't want to be on them when they were cooking. So I did a really thorough cleaning and then boiled them for 5 minutes in salt water with vinegar. And now I'm ready to start the Instant Pot. So the Instant Pot is such an easy way.
Okay, I'm putting mine in a pot. All right.
This was just coming up to pressure in the Instant Pot, and that has to, nope, not like that. And strain it again. Now what I did do, which I don't normally do,
well, we can't call this woman a drama queen.
Is I left this trivet in there, thinking that it might just be easier to lift everything out with this, but I'm going to put that in the sink and not use that batch of broth in. So we'll go ahead and strain all of this. This is first run, second run, and typically what I do is, oh wow, okay, so
there's that
I
fat.
normally scrape off this fat, but this I can tell, and I don't know if you can see that, but this is exactly like Jell-O. It's very thick and not liquidy at all, and there's not a ton of fat on the top here, and I don't want to waste any of the stock, so I'm not going to scrape any more than that off. Now here is the second one. So it's also, wow, can you see that? It's also very gelatin-like.
So,
and that's the second run.
I guess if you want to, you know.
Cool. Now, I do notice that it has a little bit of a different color. So this is more of a golden brown, and this is more of a yellow. Let me hold them both up so you can see. Put them on the same spoon. Well, can you see the difference in the color?
I'm legally blind.
Batch, second batch.
Looks the same to me.
That is a lot of collagen. That's pretty exciting. Now this one doesn't have as much fat. There's not even a layer that I can really scrape off of there, and I'm not going to worry about it. I only like to scrape it if it's going to be, you know, a decent amount of fat that is going to be, a lot of times it'll form almost like a crust, like that you can break into pieces, and I just scoop that off and discard it. But I'm not going to worry about that. I got a very little bit from the top of this one, and that's all I'm going to do. So what we're going to do next is,
I guess I have to wait and see
these up
what we get when I do my feet. But I only got just I don't have 60 feet.
Mark that
so hold on. Okay, so I'm going to finish it on here with YouTube Antics. Yep. So I came back to that video with that dude that likes to copy other people's content and react on it. Basically, who could very well be a AI generated quote-unquote YouTube content creator. I'm just saying. Now he's at 9,000, what is that? 860. Yeah, that's how much has jumped up in the last, what, half an hour, 45 minutes since I've been talking about chicken feet. Seriously, that's some stupid shit. And then, of course, when we go on to my channel, right, with a real human being, with a real story, with real subjects, right? You know what I'm saying? You know? Real action in real time. And the money is funny, clearly, right? Well, the views are buried and hidden and are prevented from occurring. What do you think about that? If that's not YouTube Antics, I don't know what is.